In the heart of Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria, a beacon of hope was lit. The 2025 Port Harcourt Climate Week, hosted by Aspire Climate Vanguard in collaboration with partners and stakeholders, brought together innovators, community leaders, and activists to tackle the pressing climate challenges in the Niger Delta. This two-day summit focused on justice, innovation, and community action. Day one spotlighted justice and adaptation, with Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Matthew Booker, delivering a keynote on empowering local voices to drive resilience.
My paper was basically on the fact that each and every one of us has a responsibility, both moral and legal, to protect the environment. And that was basically what I spoke on. And that moral and legal obligation has received traction by our courts, and the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in Nigeria, has spoken and has given the rights to individuals, to government, to non-government organizations who feel that they have a right to maintain actions in respect of protection of the environment to do so. So that was basically what I spoke on, and I'm inspired by the fact that we have a duty to protect the environment, because if we don't do that, we'll have nothing to live on.
Booker emphasized the need of equitable solutions, urging policies that amplifies local voices.
We have people of different generation, Gen Z, Gen Alpha. It shows that there is interest in the environment. It shows younger people having interest in the protection of the environment. That gives me a whole lot of hope, and I feel that should be one of the biggest takeaway for me from this conference.
Panels shared stories of resilience against floods and pollution, highlighting the region's struggles and triumphs.
The other avenue, if awareness is properly created, without climate change, yes, global. But if you go out to the communities, we solve that problem.
I think we were able to isolate individuals and create a human-centered design approach or story approach, where we let them know to respond to the crisis.
Professor Frank Ogiomo's keynote, Building Resilient Cities, Turning Climate Risks into Opportunities, inspired action.
Naturally, any disadvantage approximates to how you can get the best out of it. Humanity never knew until 1972 at Stockholm that what we have been doing to ourselves in the name of development, industrialization, and all of that, cultural progress, civilization, was actually the destruction of the human person. And that destruction, taken for what will be called development and progress, scientific and all of that, we called, at Stockholm, a UN organized gathering of human beings. It was pointed to man that, look, we are killing ourselves because we are killing nature. Remember that man is part of nature which he is destroying. So if you do not take care and hold back a little bit on what you are doing, we run the risk of killing ourselves by destroying nature. Because if you destroy nature, nature cannot give us the air we need, the clean water we need, the very clean air necessary for our survival, the food that the plants produce, food resources that waters produce from pollution. If those things go unchecked, then our life is equally at risk. So that was where the sensitization around climate discussions came about.
The summit concluded with a renewed call to action for stakeholders to collaborate and create a climate-smart Port Harcourt city and a resilient Niger Delta.
Don't look at the word climate change. Look at how is it affecting me. If I go home today, what is in my environment that is affecting me? Is it the suit that I breathe in? Is it it's just a lot.
Workshops and panel discussions sparked new ideas, with attendees pledging to carry forward solutions rooted in justice and innovation.
Okay, so the idea of the Port Harcourt Climate Week was to make sure that we build a community and ecosystem around young people, academians, organizations to come together to be able to, discuss and think of a way forward for a sustainable future for Port Harcourt City.
Naturally, any disadvantage approximates to how you can get the best out of it. Humanity never knew until 1972 at Stockholm that what we have been doing to ourselves in the name of development, industrialization, and all of that, cultural progress, civilization, was actually the destruction of the human person. And that destruction, taken for what will be called development and progress, scientific and all of that.
And the high rate of children climate illiteracy was alarming, coupled with the whole climate change that we are suffering. And I just realized that in the future, many people, that's the younger generation, in the future, they are likely to repeat the mistakes of the past in the future, rendering all efforts that we make now useless. So therefore, I started Egalitarianism for Earth with a center to groom green leaders for greener generations.
One of the best key takeaways from this program is that the Niger Delta is a wonderful region. Instead of us to be known as a region of crisis, it should be known as a region of innovation and creativity. And that is one of the best things I've heard today.
So Rotary Club of Port Harcourt ECHO is a cause-based club, and it's on environment, ecology. And we're big on climate change. We're big on fighting the climate change. We've done a lot of projects as regards that. We've handled the tree planting, advocacy, and not just advocacy, but we have done the projects we have planted in Eastern Bypass, Boricam, and a few other places, and even schools where we inducted clubs for tree planting for those schools.
Climate change is here because we now experience a rise in sea levels and regular rainfalls and very heavy storms and the rest of them that generate the floods that affect the residents of every state and every nation. With Niger Delta as point of reference, we see that, and coming down to Port Harcourt where the event is taking place, and the conference calls for various mitigation and adaptation. We have to start engaging the government to go back to their rules, go back to their plans, and start implementing them. We can do that. That is through advocacy, not fighting government. Nobody can fight government for when government have to do the right thing, but you do advocacy to remind them that they have a law that have not been implemented, and that law will have to be implemented. You remind them, do advocacy, and they will look at the law or look at the plan and start implementing it. And the issue of the flooding in the state will be fought and will be a thing of the past.
So, climate issue is something that affects everyone. And sometimes when we talk about climate, we see it as a big lofty something, but no. And because of that, we address it as such, as a big something. It's a something big that people can understand. But when we niche down on telling climate stories, how it affects, first of all, our health and our finance.
Plan. It means play, learn and act now. It is an environmental education card game developed by EcoCycle. So this game comprises of the environmental problems and solution. Mostly it's for kids and adults as well. You can use it in your offices, in your homes. And it comprises of a dictionary as well.
First time Port Harcourt is hosting a Climate Week event. So I think that it's a good way to put the city on the map, on a global map of people who are discussing climate issues. The about was that we don't have a proper drainage network. Okay. We have gutters, right? Yeah. But these gutters are not connected in a way that water can easily flow through canals and go to the ocean. We're just next to the ocean, so we shouldn't be having flooding issues, because easily we can channel water away from the city and the various communities into the ocean. We can build pump stations like what Lagos is doing. They're building pump stations in places that have low land, so that when water comes in there, those pumps can pump the water out of there. Oh, wow. So that if floods come, for example, maybe you know how it rains in Port Harcourt, maybe it rains for like 4 or 5 hours. Within that period of time, the pump is working so that the water is pumped. So that by the time the rain stops, all that water has been able to go out to proper channels.
He showcased innovative urban planning strategies to transform Port Harcourt into a sustainability model.
We have reason to be afraid, but that reason to be afraid generates what I call a call to be cautious, to tread carefully, and we are beginning to tread carefully. Like the follow-up or the third convention following the Stockholm Convention, which was the Paris Convention, evidence of man destroying the world, climate change, temperature rise and all of that, green gas generation and all of that, was shown to those who attended. So all the nations that came signed an agreement to cut emissions of green gas and harmful gas at least by 2%. So when humanity has come and agreed to say, yes, we will do this, it simply means that we realize where we are going and we have the responsibility to make sure that the earth becomes where we live.
The 2025 Port Harcourt Climate Week ignited hope and action. Let's work together to build a sustainable future for the Niger Delta.